Now speaking on behalf of the Board of Education, Chair Joe McCammon.
Thank you all. Good evening, Seth and fellow RTM members. Thank you for hosting the Board of Education tonight. My name is Jill McCammon. I'm the current chair of the board. Many of you are used to seeing Duke Deneen up here, our former chair. Before I continue, I'd like to express my warmest thanks to him for his 9 years of service, 3 of which were at chair. He concurrently chaired the ORBC. Before that, he was vice chair and facilities chair, and he was an active member throughout. His focus on student voice and experience, top quality facilities, and relationship building within the board, among the boards, and with staff and administration means he's left a legacy for our students and families for years to come. Additionally, I would like to thank my fellow board members, Julie Best, David Brown, Greg Grambling, Katie Lublin, Dennis Maroney, Robin Nelson, Sarah Parent, and John Sini. We're a board of 9. Special thanks to Dennis Maroney for serving a 3rd term, and a warm welcome to Robin Nelson and Greg Grambling, who have recently joined us. Between all of us, we have 27 children who range in age from 1st grade to adults recently out of college. The 9 of us share a passion for how children learn and how schools teach them. The vision of the Darien School District is preparing all students to thrive in a changing world today, to thrive in a changing world tomorrow. Behind me, as I speak, you'll see some images of what that mission looks like for Darien Public Schools. There'll be students at many different ages and stages. I will not narrate through it. Whenever you're ready, Jeremy, thank you. But you'll see classrooms, common spaces, kids on stage and at play, for fun or in sport, and the buildings that house them. My thanks to Jeff DeMeo for his work in putting it together. Now I know that I'm going to ask you to divide your attention, listen to me, and look at something that has nothing to do with what I'm saying. But for those of you who are tired of listening, you can look here, and if you want to hear me, I'll still be talking. Today, the all in preparing all of our students means 4,667 kids. 108 of those students are in our early learning program. Almost half, or 2,110, are in our 5 elementary schools. 1,048 are in our middle school, and 1,401 are at our high school. Our most recent enrollment study projects an additional 112 students over the next 5 years. Those numbers include real estate development data, and we thank Chairman Mulvaney, who just spoke so eloquently, and Jerry McGinsburg, as well as their board and staff members, for their cooperation to ensure that we do have the data we need for our projections. I would like to emphasize, similar to what Steve just said, Darien remains a highly desirable school system known for its academic excellence. How do we ensure Darien remains that highly desirable school known for its academic excellence? I want to start with who? With the people who work with our students 180 days each year. Darien has 815 staff members. There are many ways that we support our teachers and staff, but as RTM members, you will be familiar with the fact that we're in year 2 of our teacher's contract. As you may recall, that contract was structured with 3 goals in mind. The first was to address recruitment and retention. The second is to recognize the hard work and dedication of our teaching staff. And the third was to become more competitive at the lower end of the salary schedule to help attract new teachers to Darien. There are 489 teachers covered by that contract. In Darien, 33%, or 1/3, of our teachers turned over during the course of the previous contract agreement. Turnover was 64 teachers this year, 74 teachers last year, and 32 teachers the year before. That number 32 is a much more normal number that we're used to seeing. Teacher shortages is a nationwide phenomenon. It's particularly visible in science, math, foreign language instruction, and special education. Here in Darien, in addition to the contract provisions, Additional work that we've identified to redress teacher shortages includes leadership opportunities to support career paths, continuing to expand our recruitment efforts, and working with substitutes to create teaching capacity and stability for students. This year, the board has recently approved a budget-neutral 0.4 FTE special education substitute for the current year. In special education, instruction must be delivered by appropriately qualified staff. Our goal is to provide relief to special education teachers who, while they were compensated, were substituting with time that they do not have. We're also looking at how our administrative structure supports our staff and students. I'll be back to you in January to talk about the Darien Administrative Contract, or the DAA contract, but in short, we are also experiencing administrative turnover, and as a result have structured that contract to be more attractive and more responsive. As we navigate staff shortages, we ask for your support and your understanding of the importance of fully staffing buildings and classrooms for safety, for education, and for the integrity of the experience that we wish to deliver to our students. Other staff we put into place recently include mental health and security personnel. Last year, we successfully hired a director of mental health, Dr. Alicia Dadd. Our efforts and priorities continue to be focused on meeting the immediate and longer-term needs of our students and staff through direct provision of services for students, direct communication with families about mental health. Dr. Dadd has been circulating, talking to folks about mental health and difficult conversations you're having with children and how to support families and children. Collaboration with the town's mental health task force. John mentioned it earlier. Thank you to the selectmen for supporting that. Thank you to Marcy for serving on it. Behavioral health subcommittee and local organizations. At DHS, we implemented a wellness center this year. It's a place for kids to go and sit and do nothing to talk to each other. It is a tech-free zone. We also implemented Teen Talk, which is a counselor who sits at the, administered through Kids in Crisis, but who comes to the high school and sits at the high school. Research does show that people are best served when they ask for help. You want them to want to go and get it. So we provided Teen Talk so that kids who need somebody to go to have a place and a resource immediately in the schools. We also continue the implementation of our social emotional learning curriculum. We do an annual school climate survey, and underpinning all of that is professional development of our faculty and staff. The mental health of our students has been the board's top priority this year. It will continue to be. I thank you for your words about mental health, John. Also hired last year in close collaboration with the Darien Police Department were Leon Krolakowski, our Director of Security, and 6 school security officers. Safety and security has been a board priority for a number of years. Over the past 2, we've replaced the emergency management system and made other security enhancements, conducted a KERMA safety audit, and are currently implementing security audit recommendations. We're conducting a self-assessment phase for the accreditation for the Commission on Accreditation for Law Enforcement Agencies, and we continue to assess and plan for additional plant needs at each of our schools. We will be the first public K-12 school district to seek national accreditation for safety and security efforts. I'm proud to report that, as been mentioned, the beautiful Ox Ridge facility opened fully to students this August. If you've not seen the building, I encourage you to do so. Building highlights include tremendous natural light, beautiful, well-designed classrooms, a large, airy gym, thoughtful and innovative use of the space outside of the classrooms for various educational needs, a sustainable cafeteria, a serious playground, up-to-date security measures, and a cutting-edge general learning commons or library space. Similarly, work on the Hinley Homes and Royal project continues. The goals of this project, to remind you all, were 1, eliminating the portable classrooms. Just to put an underline underneath that, the portable classrooms were supposed to go to the fire department for practice. They are not in good enough shape to make it over to the fire department. Secondly, right-sizing general and special classrooms. When I say special classrooms, that might mean classrooms for delivery of services such as speech or special education. I'm also talking about music and art rooms. The third is renovation or construction of the general learning commons or the libraries. There are two reasons for that. The first is the modernization of our facilities to reflect how libraries are used today and as was done at Ox Ridge. The second is because of the physical space itself. Homes needed a renovation. There's some odd classrooms that were put in at different points in time to accommodate excess capacity. And at Hindley and Royal, the libraries are independent buildings that are poorly located and poorly built. There's no reason to keep them. Our fourth goal is updating mechanicals. It's close to 50% of the project costs. We're replacing multiple legacy systems, and most importantly, when we're finished, the buildings will have air conditioning for everybody. The project also includes security enhancements, site work, including drainage, parking, and at Hindley, traffic circulation. The original construction date scheduled for this past August was postponed to June, the end of this coming school year, right now, so that we could rebid the work. The HHR committee has received those updated bids and is reviewing them. We'll be updating the various boards and town bodies in the coming days and weeks. Our thanks to the HHR committee for their hard work, particularly Chris Price, who leads it, and to Monica McNally and Jim Palin for their support of the committee as it's gone along. And John Zagrazzi, thank you for what you're about to do. Also, our thanks to Alan Adley and Kevin Monrette, who've represented the schools throughout and most importantly pivoted and got our kids into the schools safely when the construction date was changed. It is critical to continue to invest intelligently and proactively in our school facilities. Our current average cost per pupil for is $24,069, which is slightly below the average in our comparable district reference group. With those dollars, as you've seen in this small snippet of our schools, we provide top-notch facilities, staff, and educational programming. Of our students who graduated in 2023, 93.9% are attending a four-year college, 1.5% are attending a two-year college, and 1.2% are attending a college prep school. Of the remainder, 33 of our students report that they're planning to participate in programs such as living learning communities, research fellowships, ROTC scholarships and programs, academic support programs, and audition programs for theater and music. Our student performance across standardized testing continues to be exceptional, as reflected on SAT, AP tests, and the annual number of National Merit Scholars, which was 4, Commended Scholars 24, and Presidential Scholar Candidates 3. In the wake of COVID, we continue to be proud of Darien's scores, but also to look for where we might need to support students. For example, we continue to maintain literacy interventionists at our elementary schools. 502 of our students took 1,201 AP tests, with 92% of the tests receiving a score of 3 or higher. It remains an administrative goal to provide access to AP classes to more students. This year, our district was recognized as the Best Communities for Music Education by the National Association of Music Merchants Foundation. The creativity and sophistication of our musical and arts productions, including performances by chorus, band, orchestra, and theater, continues to entertain and delight. On the 19th, there is a holiday concert. If anybody is looking for an opportunity, I am told, though, that you have to get there early if you want a seat. That's pretty exciting. Middlesex Quiz Bowl remains a crown jewel. Our FCAC and SEAC athletes and sport teams won 9 divisional championships, 8 FCAC championships, and 6 state championships. While we praise our students for their successes and while we continue to value excellence, I want to take a moment to speak about other kinds of success. Not all of our students feature in the list of accolades above. We also honor the students who struggled to learn algebra but kept trying, the athletes who got on the field and lost, the students who forgot their lines or hit the wrong note. In order to prepare our students for a changing world tomorrow, as a district, we are working to uphold that is often the learning that comes with the struggle and along the journey that teaches us the most and makes us who we are. Speaking of journeys, and I'm almost done, moving forward into next year, some of our future challenges include recruitment and retaining of staff, the continued focus on mental health of our students, the fiscal year 25 budget with a high core base of expenses, increased special education funding needs as identification rates and costs rise locally and across the state while state funding stays stable, changing graduation requirements, K-3 reading legislation, play-based learning in our elementary schools, effective academic differentiation across grade levels, up and down, or up and sideways, transition work for our special education students who are 18 to 22 years old, the new kindergarten start date, appropriate and optimal use or non-use of educational technology for students and staff, and the next iteration of the strategic plan. Through it all, our students, all of our students, will remain our top priority. In closing, I'd like to thank our administration, led by Superintendent Alan Adley, Assistant Superintendents Amy Fedigan and Shirley Klein, Director of HR Marge Sion, and Director of Finance Rich Rudel, and our teachers and staff. I'd also like to thank our constituents for the opportunity to serve, and my board for the privilege and responsibility of serving as the chair. Thank you to each of you for listening tonight. I know it's been long already. On behalf of the board, I wish everyone a healthy, safe, and happy holiday season, and look forward to working collaboratively with all of you over productive discussions in the new year. Thank you.